Ham, potato and leek pie. It sounds super inviting and it's also very impressive. Now I'm going to be using a 28 centimetre non-stick oven safe pan just like this one. It's not only to cook our leeks and all of our sauce, but it's also going to act as our pie dish. So let's get this heat on. We want it on a medium heat. I'll pop the handle on. This is also great because the handle detaches, so you can take this to the table without the handle, so it really does look like a pie dish. So with this butter, I like to add some olive oil just so that butter doesn't burn, about a tablespoon or so, and then in with our leeks. Now the pan is not too hot because when I'm adding leeks, I don't want to cook them really fast to get colour. I want them to sweat so they become really sweet. So in with our leeks, and we'll just coat them in that butter and all of that olive oil and just let them cook so they start to break down. Also a little pepper, and I'm not adding any salt at this stage because we are adding quite a lot of ham. Ham is salty. We'll taste it at the end to see if it needs some salt. I'll also add a good amount of thyme. So with the thyme, we'll take the sprigs and we'll just pick off all these beautiful little leaves and we'll add it. You can be quite liberal with the thyme for this. I just love thyme and ham. That combination is so beautiful, so wintry. And we'll just give that a toss. And one little stir. And we'll just let that cook off. All right, while that's cooking long and slow, let's have a look at our potatoes. So I've cooked some Desiree potatoes. These have been cooked with their skins on in some water, and then I've just peeled them and kept them warm in my pot. I'm taking them out, so 2 large Desirees. I like to use Desiree potatoes for this because they're going to hold their shape as they cook. They're not going to crumble. They're not too floury, slightly waxy. A real all-purpose potato. And while they're still hot, I'm just going to cut them into chunks. Now I want these chunks to be roughly the size of our cubes of ham. So we'll just cut that into 3 and then into cubes. So I'll continue doing this. Once those leeks are cooked, we can continue on with the process. All right, these leeks have softened down, so I'm going to add some plain flour. This is going to thicken it up and give us a really nice gravy in our pie. But please cook off that flour so we don't have that raw taste. And you only need to do this for about 30 seconds, not even. Just as long as it gets slightly toasty, that's what we're after. Now we need to add some liquid to this. So chicken stock, we'll add a splash, and just with your wooden spoon, give that a mix, and you'll see it start to thicken up quite quickly. Then we can add some more stock, and just as if you were making a white sauce, we little by little add the liquid until it comes to the boil and thickens. All right, this is thickened up nicely, so let's add some more flavours to this. Some mustard. I'm using some seeded mustard, about a tablespoon or so. We'll mix that, and to give it that lush creaminess, a hint of sour cream. I like the tang of the sour cream, so a big spoonful of that can go in, and we'll just give that a little mix and just allow that to melt in. That right there is a total flavour bomb. There's so much going on with the sweet leeks, the mustard, the cream, just divine. A really nice base. So we can finally add our potato, so cubes of potato, they can go in. And it is going to be full, and that's okay. We want it to be full. We want a really generous pie. So coat all of that and then in with our ham. Now what I'm using here is a block of ham that I've diced myself. You don't want to be using sliced ham for this because it won't be chunky enough. We want little chunks of this as if it was a chicken pie. And that is the perfect ratio of sauce to filling. See how it's just coating everything. It's not swimming in sauce. We'll just level that out. All right, for our pastry lid, butter puff pastry, I rolled this one out, and before I started to cook the filling, I used the actual pan to trace a perfect circle. So this is exactly the same size as the pan. We can take our handle off just for a moment. We'll take our puff pastry and we'll just cover the pie. Just let it sit on top. It can be quite rough. We don't have to make it perfect. Okay, I like to now get a little knife and just make a little hole in the center so some of that trapped air can get out. And to give it a golden crust, some egg, so just an egg yolk with a splash of water. Break that up with a brush, mix that up, and this is going to go really golden as it cooks in the oven. So a light brushing of that egg yolk, and then straight into the oven. Hot oven, 190 degrees, and this will cook for about 30 to 35 minutes or until that pastry is flaky and golden brown. The filling is cooked, we're just cooking that gorgeous pastry. How good does this pie look? I'm so happy with it. A nice deep golden colour. You can see that that egg has given a lovely sheen, and do allow it to cool slightly before you serve it or else it'll be a real hot mess. So just let it cool for at least 10 to 15 minutes and listen to this. Oh, perfect, perfect pastry. And then look at this luscious, creamy ham and potato filling inside. Place that into a bowl. You need a bowl for this because you can see how saucy it is. Get some of that potato onto the side there. And I would serve that simply with some steamed peas or some beans or a simple salad, or just as is. Let's have a taste. Bit of that ham. Ham, potato and leek. They make the best pie. Give that one a go. It's so good. I'm going in for seconds.